Good morning. Today I want to talk about how people, Christians in particular, don't like it when you criticize and poo-poo their Bible and their religion. I guess there is a way to go about doing that, not as aggressively and offensively, but it is absolutely vital that a person be allowed to do that, to disseminate the things that feel wrong. If you are a Christian and you're still practicing your faith and belief faithfully, you are in full-fledged sleep mode, amnesia, unaware of the abusive aspects of the religion, of the faith. And I'm referring to psychological and emotional and spiritual abuse. Because Christianity, the way it is practiced in our contemporary time and in our culture, is completely soul decimating, completely spiritually abusive, psychologically abusive, because it is based on the premise that you as a human being are nothing, and that all your worth and value comes from God. At some level that is correct, but that's only at one minuscule level, and it's this minuscule level that has kind of taken over the entire story, like leaven takes over dough, right? So you never get out from under that umbrella of your separateness from holiness, and your identity with profaneness. You know, most of humanity has adopted this identity because it was embedded through religion. Christianity is a gaslighting religion, an invalidating religion. And it has foisted upon us the identity of profanity, because in this dimension of duality, of polarities, we have come to understand and identify with the fact that God is holy and that the creation is profane. Right? That's the polarity, the opposites. And where you have this polarity, you can never come together as one. You can never claim holiness for yourself, because the mind was programmed with this deprecating information. But I need to get back to my point. When people speak in a derogatory way of their former experience with Christianity and the Bible, it is important to do that. For them, it is important to do that, to reclaim their soul, their diminished soul. Because all of their lives they have been invalidated by the Bible, in this most basic sense that you are nothing and you ought to obey and worship God. That's the very basic foundation. And basically what we have done, we have gaslit ourselves, invalidated ourselves at every turn. Our human life was rendered insignificant. And that is so detrimental at a soul level. It made the soul sick. And that's why many of us are people with behavioral problems. We have trouble in our relationships because our self-image is so diminished, so crushed, that we have a defensive ego that fronts most of the time. And this defensive ego is just responding from the psychological abuse and the trauma. It's trying to hold its own, but it's become so big because our soul part has been crushed basically into non-existence. We don't dare express what we truly feel, and some are so beyond feeling, they're so brainwashed, they'll defend their own demise unto the death, right? So, Christians, if you are offended and annoyed by people voicing their discontent and disapproval with Scripture and with the Christian faith and religion, just scroll by. Do not try to compound the invalidation that those who have left the religion are trying to recover themselves from. Do not add to the mountain of invalidation by judging their act of processing the injustices. The soul has to feel the pain and the wronging, or the pain of the wronging, and has to consciously make it right. And to consciously make it right is to call a spade a spade. To call out what is wrong, what has been wrong, and what wronged us in our soul. To call it out and to validate ourselves and apply the balm of truth. Truth for self. Truth what is true to me. Not truth of what is said in the Bible. Right? So, again, if you see people disparaging the Bible, disparaging theology, disparaging Christian beliefs, walk on by. Allow them the freedom of expressing what their soul feels. Allow them to validate themselves. And don't try to correct anything. Don't try to defend your faith, because this criticism of Scripture or this criticism of Christianity might make you feel insecure. You're not ready to face it. Walk on. Don't meddle in that. Perhaps your time of awakening will come when you will have to go through this process. But yes, I need to state this strongly. If you suffered psychological, emotional, and spiritual abuse, you have to go through the process of discerning right from wrong, and you have to validate your feelings about the injustices. You have to express that and express what is right to you. Okay? Not what you were told is right in violation of your soul. You must go through that. That's part of the shadow part of the shadow work in the process of reclaiming your soul parts. So I hope this helps. Have a fantastic day, everyone.